Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of the Cerebral Smack Talk live on YouTube.com. As it is good old MF Michael Fletcher alongside Anthony Florio and Dee Dee Whitson. We are awaiting Michael Bullock in just a matter of minutes. And, well, let's dive right in. For the fourth night in a row, Smackdown Live was at the Staples Center in Los Angeles, California. And, well, it started it off with the Queen, Charlotte Flair. She comes out and basically cuts a promo talking about what she did to Ronda Rousey at a Survivor Series, and basically gloated over the fact, she said that she took what Becky said to heart, went out and gave her a beating that she would have wanted. She smiled again and said how she made Ronda bow down to the Queen. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, that was what happened at Survivor Series, regardless of the ludicrousy that happened with the booking and the writing and whatever. Charlotte Flair made Ronda Rousey bow down to the real queen of WWE at the end of the day. But Paige came out and she's like, look, I'm not looking for an apology. You don't need to say I'm sorry for anything. And she said that, you know what? They talked about possibly finishing it off. So, they were talking about maybe let's do it at TLC. Well, we'll see if that does happen. Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte Flair, TLC, I would take it. But she did talk about one thing that could not be avoided. That was that basically Charlotte attacked referees. Major no-no to attack referees or any officials of WWE, and therefore Charlotte was fined $100,000 for her discretion, which is, in my opinion, now I don't know, I've never ever heard of $100,000, but I think that is literally one of the largest fines that was ever sent in WWE history. Actually, that's the biggest fine ever in WWE history. But fair enough, it probably was well deserved because, like we said, she assaulted some referees. You can't do that. So, Charlotte, you're going to have to pay, and you pay dearly. Becky Lynch laying down the law and fined Charlotte, but no suspension. Fine with that. No other further punishment. Just you're gonna have to pay out $100,000. And normally, whenever a person gets fined, they end up donating the money to a local charity or something. So basically, $100,000 coming off the books on Charlotte Flair goes to a good cause. But then the Iconics came out and they basically ripped on the mic and said, you know what? Let's do this. So Charlotte fought one member of the Iconics, ended up fighting Billie Kay, beat her in 3 minutes and 32 seconds due to natural selection, then ended up trying to fight the other member of the Iconics, Peyton Royce, but that fight never got off the ground because basically they tried to do a 2-on-1 beatdown, and Charlotte basically was able to run them off and basically stood tall once it was all said and done. All right. This was well done on so many factors. Number one, I love the fact that they went with Charlotte first. They needed to explain her end, why she did what she did, why she did the beatdown on Ronda Rousey. But she kind of made it very clear. She did it for Becky. She did it for Becky Lynch because Becky told her, do the beatdown that I was going to give Ronda Rousey and make her pay. Make her suffer like I made her suffer the night before on Monday Night Raw. Mission accomplished on all fronts on that one. So then Paige laying down the law, definitely making her pay for what she did. Fair enough, no problem. I'm with that. Then you make Charlotte look strong, even more stronger, by having her fight with the Iconics, each member one-on-one, and standing tall regardless. So for me, really good segment, really good storyline progression, the staple of SmackDown Live. But now there is a question that I need to ask. What does that mean for Becky Lynch when she gets back? Remember, Becky's out with the concussion, and she's also fixing. Well, they said it broke her face, but it was more of a broken nose. So she needs the nose to be fixed. Obviously, she's going through the concussion protocol right now, and they said that for the length of a concussion, she could be out up to a month. That's basically the longest a person's been out for. Hopefully it's not in a severe case like what Alexa Bliss is going through right now on Monday Night Raw. Hopefully it's not that serious. But because right now, Becky Lynch is the most over talent on SmackDown Live, men or women. She's the top draw on that show, and trust me, the sooner we get Becky Lynch, the better we will be, to say the very least. So, with that said, as far as the segment goes, this was beautifully done. The matches, short for the liking. We could probably call NA on both matches because whatever, but just a great way to start SmackDown Live more than anything else. So, Anthony Floyo, come on in. It's all yours, my friend.
Well, I'll tell you, MF, this was very good. This is a great version of Charlotte's character, and I love that she isn't actually technically a heel. She's just a totally badass babyface like Becky Lynch. Or maybe we should just get rid of the face and heel labels altogether. Both of them are just awesome. Also, $100,000 fine. That's a bit rich, isn't it? I'm not even sure Charlotte makes all that much money, at least not compared to what she's worth. I mean, that's an NFL type fine, like a Vontez Burfict level fine, if you know what I mean. So the segment was just incredible. One of the segments of the night. As far as what we saw with the two matches, I mean, they were good. I mean, they were both decent enough, as was the post-match beatdown. I am loving this new direction for Charlotte, and I think right now, this is the Queen's personal best right now. So, and you nailed everything, MF. I mean, what's going to happen when Becky comes back? Are they going to team them up? Are they going to pick up their rivalry where they left off? I don't know. We'll see. But frankly, I like to see those two as a badass tag team. You put those two as a badass tag team, look out. I mean, they could be just as dominant as Nia Jax and Tamina on Monday Night Raw. So that's all I can say on that. So nothing more to say on this. Didi Woodson, I mean, I think right now, this is the Queen's personal best work right now.
Agreed. This was a very good segment. Yeah, the matches, not really worth any time talking about, but the segment was very well done. Not going to say too much more about it. It definitely was one of the segments of the night and a great way to open SmackDown. Definitely storyline progression. So let's move on.
All right. And the next thing we had was Miz TV. Miz with his special guest, Shane McMahon. And they were talking about that this was going to be a state of the state address. Basically, everything that happened about a week ago, with the Survivor Series fallout, with Monday Night Raw literally sweeping the main show. We did get a victory in the pre-show with the 10-on-10 Survivor Series matchup, but now news came out today that was a dipsy-do botcheroo. Actually, Raw was supposed to win that fight as well. They were going to go 7-0. They were supposed to go completely 7-0 over SmackDown Live. And what happened was one of the agents actually mucked up and actually communications were mixed, and basically the wrong ending happened. Now, I don't know who is going to be the survivors on Monday Night Raw end, but we all saw that the team that was supposed to take the final fall was supposed to have been the Usos. The Usos was not supposed to have won that fight. Maybe it would have been possibly the Revival knocking off the Usos at the end, and therefore it was going to be a clean sweep. 7-0 Raw over SmackDown. And if you thought, and that really would have irked me more than anything else. Like, if you thought I was in an angry mood on Sunday night, imagine if it would have been a 7-0 wipeout. Oh my!
Which it should have been, by the way.
And why would you say that?
You just said it. You said it yourself. A little dipsy-do botcheroo. I gotta go.
Yeah,
I gotta go into Jesse mode. I gotta go into Jesse Ventura mode here. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. You're telling me Raw was supposed to win that match as well? It was supposed
the original plan by Vince McMahon was that Monday Night Raw was to do a complete and utter sweep. 7-0. That was the plan.
Good.
Going into Survivor Series. They said that a couple of the agents probably did not get that information, and that's why they actually and that was a mistake, and SmackDown won that fight. But the thing was, if you notice, the entire night, they never, ever, ever gave SmackDown that 1 point because it was not in the plans. So the whole time they were, and even when they were talking about it as well, and that was that during the event, they were saying, oh, Raw wins this match, Raw wins this match. And even Corey Graves mentioned, they're like, wait a minute, well, SmackDown won during the pre-show. And they said that does not count because that was only pre-show. We're counting main show. Everybody was flipping out on social media. It's like, wait a minute, SmackDown won a match. They got the match, recognized it. Xavier Woods, of all people, came out on Twitter saying, we got one match. Recognize it, WWE. But no, because the original plan was Raw was supposed to sweep 7-0, but because one little mistake, they basically struck it off the books. Like, oh, that didn't happen. It didn't matter. Idiots! This video that SmackDown won. Honor it, god damn it. But anyway,
someone's a little bitter. I wonder why.
I think we all have a right to be bitter, but whatever the case, at least our show was better than Monday Night Raw tonight.
Not that much better.
Oh, get out of here, Florio. Anyway, right back to this business. So Shane McMahon talks about, they'd start talking about all the stuff that was happening, and Shane's like, we? There is no we stuff, man. He's like, look, he called them co-besties again, pointed out about the World Cup tournament, eventually broke down, and he wanted to team up with them. All right. So then later on, we had a couple of local jobbers called the Bryant Brothers, and they were going to have a match. So it was Shane McMahon and The Miz versus the Bryant Brothers. And believe it or not, when it was all said and done, the winner of the bout in 1 minute and 31 seconds, the Bryant brothers wins the match because the Miz got rolled up and pinned for the 1, 2, 3. If Didi Woodson and Michael Bullock were here right now, they would be laughing their asses off right about now. I think Didi Woodson's probably celebrating right now.
I am right here.
Well, I know you're here, and we'll get to you in just a minute.
No, you just said if I was here, I would be laughing, and I am here, so I'm telling you that.
Oops. Okay. All right. I stand corrected. I'm not even watching my Google Hangout screen because I got the pro wrestling.net right now, so that's why I'm not like looking at the monitor. So my fault, my bad. Sorry about that. But oh my God, Anthony Florio, Miz TV, and the next thing you know, we got one of the biggest upsets in SmackDown history. Two local guys, two local independent wrestlers from California just knocked off the Miz. What?
Oh. And people wonder why Monday Night Raw is the A show. That's a prime example. We don't put jobbers over a major star. You fed the Miz to these ham and egger jabronis, part of Luigi PS3's jabroni squad. Oh, Lord, help me. Oh, gosh. This is why you love SmackDown Live, huh, MF? Land of opportunity, right?
Hey, land of opportunity. They just gave two guys out of nowhere a chance of a lifetime, and he just beat a former WWE champion. Yes, thank you very much.
Yeah, you put him over tonight, but next week they're not going to see the light of day. Next week, you kidding me? They're going to be a 1 week wonder. Let's not kid ourselves. You think we're going to see these clowns again next week? No, I don't think so. I'll be shocked if this leads to somewhat of a payoff for these young men. Maybe I'll tone it down here, but
who knows? This could be a Santino Marella, James Ellsworth thing going, man. I think the fans are gonna start rallying around these two Bryant brothers. Who knows? They might be just developmental guys that they could just use, week in and week out. But I think, I hate to say this, but Shane McMahon, Paige, sign these men up right now. Give them WWE contracts.
Okay. The segment was good, but it was kind of dumb. But it was also hilarious. I mean, and you know what? If it makes you laugh, if it makes me laugh, it gets a quote-unquote good rating. That's how simple sports entertainment is sometimes, folks. That's what it is. That's all there is to it. So, we'll wait and see what happens. But for right now, the segment was all right. I mean, it was just Miz doing his usual suck-up routine, and no comment on the match. That should have been a cutout. That should not have seen the light of day here. But so that's all there is to say on that. So I think they're 1 week wonders. I don't think we're gonna see them next week.
Harry went back in time.
So we'll have to wait and see. So
and then they got trapped.
What do you make of all this dumb but hilarious nonsense?
That place started flooding. So we had to go back in time to save him again.
Miz is definitely sucking up for something. I don't know what he's sucking up for, but he's sucking up for something.
And then in the end, it turned out that Dumbledore made the water monster.
I think it's hilarious that Miz lost.
Why was he alive?
I think it's hilarious he got rolled up. So,
Why was he alive?
because everybody knows I don't like the Miz anyway. So it doesn't matter to me if he gets pinned or not. I mean, yeah, go for it. Beat the crap out of him. Knock him out. I don't care.
My question was why was it?
So, yeah, it was definitely a hilarious segment. Definitely a fallout from Survivor Series, but I would not call that a a state of a union type of address or whatever they were calling it. But yeah, that it was definitely hilarious and definitely like you said, suck up time for Miz. So it's yours, Fletch.
All right, and the next thing we had after that is we had the New Day coming out, cutting a promo. Of course, it's Thanksgiving this week, everybody. So if you've been living under a rock, this Thursday is Turkey Day, Thanksgiving. So they were talking about the Thanksgiving feast, and Xavier was eloquently put it. Had a shirt printed on his shirt 6-1, talking about that victory at the Survivor Series. I'm telling you right now, Xavier Woods is gonna go down. He's gonna ride that ship. He's the one that was talking about 6-1 on Twitter, and he still is hammering that baby home. That they got the win, that his team won at Survivor Series, that wasn't a screw up or anything like that. But it was interrupted by the bar. It kind of was what you expected. But they were joking about the whole Thanksgiving feast and everything else, and that whoever came up with that idea should be shot. That it's a dumb idea and the whole 9 yards. Then the New Day kind of mocked Cesaro and Sheamus for losing at Survivor Series and losing 2 years in a row. If you remember last year, they were a part of Team Raw going up against the SmackDown Tag Team Champions in the Battle of the Tag Champions with the Usos. And the Usos walked away with the victory. Gave SmackDown Live a much-needed point there. And now, 1 year later, this time the bar was representing SmackDown Live against the AOP, and the AOP won the match, and thus that gave the point to Monday Night Raw at the time, and pretty much was well on their way to solidifying the sweep on the main show. So the match goes down. New Day wins it 7 minutes and 34 seconds. Dee Woodson, it is all yours out here.
I don't even know how to address this match. I mean, it starts off as a regular match and then turns into total chaos. I mean, it's more like a food fight than an actual wrestling match by the end of it, to the point to where when New Day was walking out, they kept slipping and sliding on the mats because of all the food that was all over the mats. We're hitting people with turkeys. Boy, like I said, I don't even know what to say about this match. I mean, it starts off good and just ends in a disaster. I'm not going to rate it very high just because of the fact that I think it was more of a comedy match than an actual match. So I'm going to give it probably 1 to 1.5 stars just because of the fact that it just ended up being comedy more than anything else. Yeah, I'm kind of on the bandwagon that, hey, SmackDown won a match. Just give them the dang match and forget the fact that the stupid agent screwed up. It's all water over the dam now. You can't go back and change it. Hindsight's 2020, so just accept the fact that he screwed up and accept the fact that SmackDown won at least one match out of the whole daggum pay-per-view. So not much more I'm going to say about it. Just take it.
Yeah, it was one of those weird matches, but then again, you kind of had a feeling it was going to turn into something like this. I don't know why, but SmackDown has been notorious for having a food fight, especially on Thanksgiving. Some of them were funnier than others. You really didn't have to go down that road. I really wish they didn't, but, I get it. I understand why. It is Thanksgiving, so it is the week of Thanksgiving, so you had to play it up a little bit. Like I said, I don't think it would have been as entertaining as the other matches or the other moments would have been. But I mean, it is what it is. We expected a match like this. We got it. I mean, this is one of those where I think one or two of the monkey writers probably infiltrated on SmackDown Live. First of all, when you do it with one of the monkeys, you feed him a banana, then you ship his ass back to Monday Night Raw. That's where you belong, not on my show, boys. So, nothing more to say. Anthony Florio, it's all yours.
Let's send them. Hey, the more monkey riders on SmackDown Live, the better it is. The better it is for Raw. That's all there is to say on that. We'll take it. So, anyways, your typical holiday silliness fight. I mean, yes, MF, you're right. I mean, we have seen this on SmackDown Live many of years. I mean, back before it was live, back when we were reading SmackDown spoilers. I mean, 2003 is the one that stands out for me. I mean, John Cena was pretty much the star of that, and I remember something with Tori Wilson during that as well. But nonetheless, I know there are going to be some people who will actually call this excellent, and there are some that are actually there for the nonsense and don't care who knows. But I'll say this about the New Day. I mean, they are just the best, and let's give credit where credit is due to the Bar for being good sports and taking all those ridiculous moves, especially Cesaro. I mean, Cesaro was the one who practically got covered in the entire Thanksgiving meal. So, yeah, and yeah, seeing all that food there. I mean, one of my favorite holidays of the year, and now you know why. I mean, you get to see that beautiful feast, and it looked so delicious there, and seeing all this going down. And I mean, the match was not anything special, obviously, but I mean, the New Day, they just keep doing what they're doing. They're at the top of their game right now. Who knows? Maybe they get another shot at the Bar. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. But like I said, you got to give credit to the Bar for being good sports and taking those embarrassing and ridiculous bumps there, especially Cesaro. So I would probably give this about 2 to 2.5, maybe for the rating if I had to give one. So happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Let's move on, MF.
Next up we had was a women's tag team match. Asuka and Naomi versus Absolution, Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. And when it was all said and done, Asuka and Naomi wins the match as Asuka puts the Asuka lock after Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose kind of had a little bit of a falling out there. It looks like there's some trouble in paradise between the two ladies, and yeah, it exploded. So Naomi and Asuka benefits from the miscues of the ladies and wins the match. Okay, I actually don't mind that this happened. You could tell they're actually, I think they're legitimately thinking of doing a story with Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose. I think Mandy is a little jealous of Sonya Deville right now. Sonya got selected for the Survivor Series squad. Mandy Rose got in on a technicality because of the fact that Charlotte was supposed to be the 15 member, but had to fight Ronda Rousey because of the Becky Lynch injury. So basically, Mandy Rose got thrown in just on a whim, and now I think Mandy's getting a little jealous of Sonya Deville. There's a little bit of animosity between the two women, and Naomi and Asuka, well-oiled machine. They just keep trucking along, getting victories. So, I mean, it is actually really good. And you know, at the rate it's going, I'm still shocked that they haven't announced a women's tag team division yet. I mean, we know the belts are done. We know the belts have been supposedly created. We have it. What are you waiting for, guys? Christmas? I mean, what the hell? Give it. Drop the bomb. We know it's coming. Just drop it. Tell us when. Unless you're gonna wait till WrestleMania, well, that's gonna be so freaking long. I don't know. Anthony Florio, it's yours. As far as the match goes, I mean, I could give this about 1.5, 2 stars. This was not bad.
No, if it was solid. The 4 women in this match are all very good at what they do. And I like the teases of friction between Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose. This is a story to watch going forward. But it's just as important to enjoy the work Naomi and Asuka have been doing. So we're just going to park it there. I'll meet you there. I'll give this about 2, maybe 2.5 on this again. So nothing more to say on that. So Didi Woodson, our resident women's expert here, how did this tag match play out to you?
Yeah, I would agree with the rating. I mean, they did a very good job. The big question was always, how well Mandy and Sonya was going to get along in the match. My big question is, did Sonya Deville forget how a tag match goes? Because when Mandy rolled out at the beginning of the match, she just kind of jumped in there without the tag. Is this another botcheroo, or did she just kind of have her blonde moment for the day or something? I don't know, because we know she's not blonde unless that's what her natural hair color is underneath the black.
I think she was thinking more Lucha Libre rules because the thing is that if in Lucha Libre, especially in like Lucha Underground, whatever, if a person rolls out of the ring, another person can go in automatically without being tagged. I'm trying to just throw a little theory out there, Didi, but I know that probably won't help it any more than what it was.
No, there's not anything I can say that would, or anybody can say that would save that moment. I mean, if she's even thinking Lucha Libre, then she's on the wrong show. I mean, WWE never has done anything like that unless it was a tornado tag match.
Yeah, I tried to save you, Sonya. I'm sorry. I tried to save you there.
I mean, that's the only negative I can really say about the match is just what the hell was she thinking when she did that? I mean, because she had to go back to the apron so they could go back to what they had scripted for the match and for them to both be knocked out. And it's like, wait a minute, ref's telling you to get out. You're not tagged in. What the heck are you doing, woman? Oh, I don't know. It was just bizarre. So I'm not going to say anything else. Let's just go on.
All right. And the next thing we had, this one is going to be an epic moment. It is Daniel Bryan, the new WWE champion, making his first public comments since winning the title a week ago on SmackDown Live. And more importantly, a big announcement was made, guys. AJ Styles gets his rematch at TLC. Daniel Bryan versus AJ Styles at TLC for the WWE title. Anthony Florio, it's your man. It's your guy. What did you think of the segment?
Awesome. This was the segment of the night. I mean, there's no way you can hate on this because, Daniel Bryan did everything he was supposed to do. He freaked us out, and this was a trip. Like, this was bizarre. But it got the crowd to boo Bryan, which is good enough. And honestly, I'm down for more of this. absolutely down for more of this. I mean, referring to himself in the third person, I mean, just amazing. And, it looks like he's going to be one of those nut job heels here. I think that's what they're trying to do here. And a little exclusive here. He was the one who asked for the heel turn. He's the one who wanted to turn heel. He pitched the idea to Vince McMahon and all of them. And the weekend before Survivor Series, Veterans Day weekend, Vinnie Mac okayed it, and that's why at the last moment they decided to not only turn him heel but also put the title on him. And because Vinnie Mac wanted to go for the big impact, that's what he wanted. He wanted, for that to go for that impact moment, that ratings hook, if you will. That's why all that went down. So there's your little inside information for the evening there. I mentioned it last Friday on our preview show, but MF wasn't here, and I wanted to make sure he knows this. So there you go, MF. If you're wondering why they went this route, it was Daniel Bryan himself who asked for it. So he pitched it about a month ago, maybe a little more. So that's why you see him as he is right now. So he's gonna look like he's gonna be one of those creepy nut job possessed heels, a mental nutcase, if you will. I think that's what they're trying to go for here. So I loved it. It was a great first heel promo, and let's see what happens now going forward. TLC against AJ Styles. We get it again. If the two previous matches weren't any indication, we're in for something really special here, because the first two matches were both really good, and this is the rubber match. I mean, the end of October, AJ Styles won it, and then Daniel Bryan stole the title from him. So this is the rubber match right here. So this match is going to be well significant as to who WWE wants to have representing SmackDown Live as the WWE champion going into WrestleMania 35. So we'll see what happens. I honestly thought they were going to have AJ, run with it all the way until then, but no. But I guess AJ's going to be in the house next week. He'll be in Minneapolis next week, which is where SmackDown Live is going to be. So I'm sure we'll either get a rebuttal or something like that from him. So we'll see. So really nothing more to say on this. For me, I could call this the segment of the night, although the Charlotte one was just as amazing. So maybe another co-segment of the night deal here. So nothing more to say. So Didi Woodson, Yes Movement's gone, and Daniel Bryan is, I guess, now going to be a mental nut job heel. It looks like, referring to himself in the third person.
Yeah. Weird. I mean, my autistic son refers to himself in a third person, so this was just kind of bizarre to see Daniel Bryan completely lose it to that point. Something snapped. We already knew he had turned his back on the Yes Movement. We already knew that he was going nuts. But I don't think any of us thought they were going to go this route with him, where he's just totally gone. I mean, it's like he lost brain cells or something. The segment was really good, though. I mean, I enjoyed the segment. It's just seeing Daniel that way, it's weird. He pretty much said the old Daniel's dead, which would be a page out of a Taylor Swift song where she says that the old Taylor's dead. So basically, we have the old Daniel Bryan dead. So we have the new Daniel Bryan to deal with, which will do basically anything that The Miz would do to win a title, or to win a match. So I guess you could say Daniel Bryan is turning into the next Miz, but in a creepy, weird way. So not much more I'm gonna say about it. Still it was a good segment. Ready to see how AJ rebuttals this. So Fletch, I toss it to you.
And it's time for the main event of the evening, as it was Randy Orton one-on-one with Rey Mysterio. Randy Orton wins the match in 9 minutes and 33 seconds with an RKO out of nowhere, with actually 2 RKOs on Rey Mysterio. But then the fight got even more crazier. Basically, Randy Orton places a chair over the head of Rey Mysterio and tossed him into the ring post to injure him. Then after that, Randy Orton did an unthinkable. He grabbed and ripped off the mask of Rey Mysterio. Mysterio was unmasked. A major shocker on SmackDown Live here tonight. Orton with the mask in hand, getting booed out of the building at the Staples Center. Oh man, trust me, if you think this is bad, Mexico is going to lose their stuff when they hear that Rey Mysterio got unmasked tonight. It is a major no-no in Lucha Libre wrestling. When you lose your mask, it's like losing an identity. TJP has been claiming mask over the Lucha House Party lately on 205 Live. And yes, Florio, I did see a couple of episodes of TJP doing that to some of the Lucha House Party members. So, yeah, this just got real serious and gotten really personal here tonight. Dee Woodson, I believe you lead off. So what did you think of the main event?
Well, one thing I will say is if any of you remember WCW, Rey Mysterio has already been unmasked once. So everybody has technically already seen his face once. So him being unmasked this time, it's not that big of a deal other than the fact that he had gone back under the mask, and it is a big no-no in Lucha Libre and Mexican wrestling for you to unmask anybody. But Chris Jericho did it the first time. Now we got Randy Orton doing it the second time. They did try to hurry and cover his face. So yeah, if Orton wasn't considered a heel before, he certainly cemented it tonight because of the reaction he got for it. The match was very well done. I enjoyed the match. I'm going to hit it with at least a 3 stars. So since my voice is barely here, I'm just going to go ahead and toss it to you guys.
Obviously, fight of the night, no doubt about it. I could give this at least 3 stars. Like, the nuclear heat is going to be absolutely palpable to Randy Orton now. He did something that's a major no-no, and to do it in LA, right next to and there's a lot of Mexicans in Los Angeles, and you pulled the mask on Rey Mysterio. I can't believe it wasn't a riot tonight in LA. Randy Orton might need to get security out of the building for heaven's sakes. That's all I'm saying. This was epic. This was a good match. I just cannot believe they actually pulled the trigger and pulled that stunt. Yes, I understand. We've seen Rey unmasked before. I mean, there's no doubt about it. But just for the sheer fact that it happened, that's a major whoa in my mind. But nothing more to say. Anthony Florio, it's all yours.
2.5 to 3, fight of the night. It was a perfectly solid main event. It never got out of second gear, but it allowed Randy Orton to look like that psychotic viper that we all know him to be. Very good. And I'm intrigued to see where this storyline goes. And along with I know MF and all the Lucha Libre fans out there, cannot wait for Rey Mysterio to get his revenge and comeuppance on Randy Orton. So maybe it leads to something at TLC. I don't know. We'll see. But 2.5 to 3, fight of the night. I mean, not the. It wasn't the most exciting, but it wasn't the worst either. So let's get to the overall review there.
All right, I will lead off with the overall review. Okay, I understand what Anthony Florio is saying about that it wasn't better than Monday Night Raw, but I mean, look, I will give this at least maybe a 4 out of 10. I think that's fair enough. The Charlotte Flair segment was great. You know, I didn't mind the Miz TV. I thought that was solid. But what really made this show and made it at least enjoyable, I think, was the last half an hour with the Daniel Bryan promo and the main event. That is definitely worth watching. The opening segment with Charlotte Flair and her awesomeness was really good. And yeah, in the middle, you kind of lost it. But then there was also that nice little momentum at the end with the Daniel Bryan promo and then Rey Mysterio versus Randy Orton. I mean, I think for all of us, they did a good job. At least handling the storyline progressions, everything else. They solidified Charlotte as a tweener right now. She isn't a heel. She isn't a face. That's good. I don't mind that. Daniel Bryan, definitely full-fledged heel. I'm intrigued with what they're going to do with his character. I think it could be very interesting to watch what he does. I kind of wondering what's the angle they're gonna play with Shane McMahon though. I did hear that the reason why that they did the burial job on Monday Night Raw, on the burial job on SmackDown Live, is that is gonna lead to possibly Shane McMahon turning heel. But we heard that once already when they were talking about him winning the WWE crown jewel and winning the World Cup, you know, referring as the best in the world. But he didn't really play that card. He's like, you know, yes, I did win the World Cup, but I'm not the best in the world. However, he did have a little bit of a heel-like moment, you know, where he pulled the trophy away from Paige and then took the photo by himself. But it kind of is like, I don't know if he's gonna get to that point yet, or if it's just, you know, you really don't know where they're going with this angle as of right now. I don't know what they're doing. So, I mean, maybe not. I don't know. I kind of feel like there's a lot that needs to be done. Maybe they're slow burning this to work its way up, but I don't know. We have to wait and see what happens. All in all, I think SmackDown did win the week. I know it's not the most overly, or it wasn't the perfect show by no stretch of the imagination, but at least we have enough storylines building up that we could work with in the upcoming weeks. And I think that's the best way to say it. So for me, I'm going to give this about a 4 out of 10 and say that SmackDown did indeed beat Monday Night Raw. Now, I'm not saying it was perfect. It wasn't. But I think this is one of those weeks where I think we were just all tired out. You know, I think there was really nothing more that they could have done. Obviously, SmackDown should have gone a little more hardcore about, you know, we lost, we got beaten down, we were humiliated. Things need to be changed. And even Shane was alluding to that. So we're like, oh, what's going to happen? But I kind of felt like they left a hole there for the moment. Well, we'll wait and see what happens. Hopefully we'll get more out of this maybe next week. So, Anthony Florio, it's all yours. Give me your overall rating.
I'll be generous. I'll give this a 50-50 show. This was a 5 out of 10 for me. I mean, you're right, MF. I mean, I said it. I mean, yes, SmackDown was technically the better show, but it wasn't a blowaway. I mean, the Charlotte Flair, Daniel Bryan segments, both of those were really good. I mean, we only had maybe one or two good matches, Orton and Mysterio. And even that Thanksgiving silliness fight, I mean, even that was pretty decent for the most part. But the women's matches didn't really do anything for me, to be honest. And Charlotte Flair should have had no trouble with the Iconics. I mean, she should have destroyed them with minimal effort. That's all I can say on that. So, but you know, the crowd was into it, and you know, everything else was okay for what it was, and yeah, I mean, both shows. I mean, last night, Monday Night Raw should have absolutely gloated about the domination of SmackDown Live, the clean sweep on the main show. There should have been some sort of over-the-top, ridiculous celebration put together by Stephanie or maybe even Constable Corbin. I don't know. They could have done something with that. They should have rubbed SmackDown's noses in it, but instead it was just business as usual. Back to reality. SmackDown Live. They should have been fuming after getting humiliated and embarrassed by Monday Night Raw at Survivor Series. Shane O'Mac was talking about possible changes being made on his Twitter. And where was that? They did a business as usual show of their own, a back to reality show of their own. We just wrapped up 4 nights of action at the Staples Center in Los Angeles. NXT TakeOver War Games was off the charts. It killed once again. Survivor Series, none of us really had high hopes going into it, but we ended up being blown away. It ended up being a damn near 8 out of 10 show. And then we get the worst Monday Night Raw of 2018 by a country mile. And one of the rare times where we can say this SmackDown Live was absolutely terrible, even though they had their moments. So, yeah, pretty much the key words this week were back to business and of course, holiday week. You know what happens when we get a holiday week? Throwaway shows. Monday Night Raw was a total throwaway. SmackDown Live, a rare throwaway for them. Like I said, if we were booking this, I mean, if I was booking Monday Night Raw, I would. If I was like Stephanie or Corbin or whatever, I would have rubbed MF and I would have rubbed SmackDown's noses in it. Come on, MF, you know I would have done that. That's exactly what I would have done. I would have been impossible. I would have been Leo Rush annoying, for God's sakes. But nonetheless, and then on this show, if MF was running things, I would have had MF in damn near cerebral viper mode, saying, "What the hell did you? The hell are you all doing? I mean, where was the effort? We lost. We got humiliated. We need to shake things up around here." And how do you shake things up? Oh, you put a couple of jobbers over The Miz. You have a Thanksgiving silliness fight. Yeah, that's shaking things up all right. 5 out of 10. Nothing more to say. Throwaway shows, both shows. Next week in Milwaukee and Minneapolis, respectively. We better be back to the good stuff for both sides. So nothing more to say. Dee Dee Woodson, wrap it up.
Okay, when has Raw actually had a good show? Because they very rarely have good shows. I hate to be that way, but most of the time they don't have good shows. I'm sorry. I don't want to be the bearer of bad news.
You're right.
I don't want to be that way, but look at your champion. He's hardly ever there. He does not reign. He does not defend. And here Heyman's out here saying, reigning, defending champion. No,
he isn't.
So I'm sorry, I have to kind of disagree with you on that one, but
Okay.
out of respect,
Right.
I won't say anything else more negative about Raw.
Hey, we saw when MF and I and Bullock, when we went to Providence, we ended up having the Raw of the year. Let's not kid.
Oh, I know that one was a very well done Raw, and like I said, it's very rare right now for Raw to have really good shows. I don't know what the heck the thing is. It seems like every other year you have one of the two shows better than the other. Why can't we have both of them be good? I mean, it's just
exactly.
it would make better sense that way. But I can see your point though of Raw should have been gloating, SmackDown should have been ticked off. Maybe next week we'll actually get that kind of stuff since this was the holiday week and they're just more in let's celebrate Thanksgiving and whatever and just not give a crap about the fallout. I don't know. We'll see what happens next week. I can't agree with the rating of about 50-50, 5 out of 10 on it because there was some good stuff. There was some storyline progression stuff. But yeah, just there's a lot of throwaway matches on SmackDown, which is unusual. You don't usually have more than maybe, if any, one throwaway match, and here we had like 3. So, at least 3, possibly 4 if you count the ladies tag. That really wasn't the best either, but it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, like I said, you can't even really consider the Shane McMahon thing any kind of a State of the Union, any kind of addressing the situation of why they lost or anything, because it just was Miz sucking up. If you were going to be really serious about that, I don't think you would have done it on Miz TV. I think you would have actually had Shane in the ring by himself with a mic, the roster on the stage, and him actually addressing them, saying, hey, look, this is what we need to do to make ourselves better. We're knocking it out of the park every week, but we can't knock them out of the park on a pay-per-view. I think it would have been more like that than what we got. So I don't know. SmackDown looks like they did. Their writers went on vacation for the holiday, and we just kind of got the Monkey Raw writers over for a week. They need to just fire all the monkeys, get new writers in for both shows, let the wrestlers do what they want. I mean, hell, let's put Triple H in charge of the whole kit and caboodle. Get Vince and all them out of here and because we already know Hunter can run a show. Look at NXT. They knock it out of the park every week. They knock it out of the park every pay-per-view. Let's have that mentality. Let's have someone that knows what the wrestlers need to do, run the show, and let the wrestlers do what they need to do, and not have somebody saying, you can't do this. You have to change what you were doing over here to fit what we're doing over here. I mean, you're barely hanging on to Asuka and Nakamura as is because of how the writers are writing them. I mean, I've heard rumors that Nakamura and Asuka both want to go back to New Japan because once they hit the main card, they're under all these rules and regulations that they did not have on NXT. So let's wipe out everything that Vince and them is doing. Let's get the NXT rules into play for Raw and SmackDown. I think you'd have 2 better shows. I really do. I think it would be a lot better.
I agree. You very very much so. I guess Dee Dee's all set. Where's your thought?
Yeah, I think I'm pretty much done because I barely got a voice. So.
All right. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna call it a night. Tomorrow, guys, is the football feast, as many of you guys know. as many of you guys know, excuse me, hosted by Anthony Florio. He's going to have Michael Bullock in the house. I might be on the show. I might not be on the show. Depends on what happens with my work. Of course, we'll be setting up for Black Friday as always. No show on Thursday, so have a wonderful Thanksgiving, everybody. I hope you guys, enjoy it. Spend it with the loved ones as always. Have the turkey. Enjoy the football. Friday night, we're at it again with Strictly Sports NFL Friday, as we got a very interesting week to say the very least. And then after that, Monday night, Ridiculously Raw at 11 p.m. Eastern with Anthony Florio. Come right back here 1 week from tonight. We're doing it all over again. Cerebral Smack Talk, Smackdown Live, this time from Indianapolis, Indiana. Thank you, Anthony Florio. Thank you, Dee Woodson. I'm Michael Fletcher. Have a good night, everybody. So long for now. Hugs and hand pounds, and we are out. See ya.